Okay, so we're always hearing about how AI is getting smarter, right? But what if an AI could actually make itself smarter? Today, we're going to dig into a breakthrough that might just be the first real step towards a true, self-evolving artificial intelligence.
I mean, that's kind of the holy grail of AI, isn't it? We're not just talking about an AI learning from the data we give it. We're talking about one that can recursively improve its own core abilities. Can a machine really become its own teacher, its own engineer, and design its own upgrade? It's a huge question. So before we even get into the how, just look at this. On a really important benchmark for machine learning engineers, a brand new model called M2.7 just tied with Google's latest Gemini, and it's right on the heels of OpenAI's best model. This result, from a company that's pretty new on the scene, creates this central mystery. How on earth did they do that?
Okay, so to get how they pull that off, you gotta meet the company that just basically put the whole industry on notice.
So this is MiniMax. They were only founded back in 2022, and they've got some serious backing from giants like Alibaba and Tencent. We're talking the resources to make some really big moves. And their model, M2.7, is the one causing all this buzz.
All right, now for the really cool part, the secret sauce. The reason M2.7 is punching so far above its weight all comes down to this one concept they call self-evolution.
Okay, to get this, you have to think about it in two parts. First, you have the model. That's the core intelligence, right? Think of it like the pilot. Then you have the harness. That's all the other stuff. The data, the tools, the code that surrounds the model. That's its vehicle.
And this analogy just hits the nail on the head. It's not just about having a great pilot. The real breakthrough from MiniMax is creating a pilot who can also act as their own chief engineer, tweaking and upgrading the car in the middle of the race.
Okay, so that sounds awesome in theory, but how does it actually work? Well, MiniMax laid it all out in this really fascinating three-step process. It all unfolds in three stages. First, the AI starts out as a research assistant. Then, it starts improving its own tools. And finally, it creates this autonomous loop to just keep making itself better. Let's break down each of those steps.
So, in step 1, an early version of the M2.7 model was basically told to build its own research environment, that harness we were just talking about. Then it turned into an assistant for the human team. And get this, it ended up automating a staggering 30 to 50% of the human team's entire workflow. That's huge.
And that brings us to step 2. And this is where it starts to feel like sci-fi. The AI isn't just using its tools anymore, it starts becoming the creator of better ones.
The term for this is recursive improvement. The model literally starts tracking its own performance. It's basically asking itself, how'd I do on that last task? It then takes that feedback and uses it to rewrite its own tools and skills so it can be more effective next time. It's this incredible self-contained feedback loop.
And then, step 3, the final and honestly the most mind-blowing part. The human researchers just step back, and the AI takes complete control of its own improvement. What the AI did was basically run the scientific method on itself over and over and over again for more than 100 rounds. It would come up with a hypothesis on how to get better, design and run a test, and then, and this is the important part, it would compare the results. If the change was an improvement, it kept it. If not, it threw it out and tried something else. And the craziest part, this was all happening with zero human input, none.
So you might be wondering, what exactly was it changing? Well, here's one example. There's a variable called temperature, which is kind of like the AI's creativity knob. At a low temperature, a poem about cats is pretty straightforward, but you crank that temperature up and suddenly you get something way more abstract and creative. The AI autonomously tested countless variables just like this, adjusting everything from creativity to data processing, all to find the perfect settings for peak performance.
So, the big question, did it work? Oh yeah, it absolutely worked. After running all those loops on itself, the model saw a 30% performance jump on its internal benchmarks. I mean, that is a massive gain, and it was all driven by the AI improving itself.
You know, this is way more than just a cool research project. This could signal a fundamental shift in how companies are built and run in the future.
And you can see this isn't some one-trick pony. Across a whole range of different benchmarks, everything from software engineering to full project delivery, M2.7 is going toe-to-toe with the biggest names out there, the models from the world's top labs.
And MiniMax isn't shy about where they think this is all headed. They believe that in the future, the whole process of developing AI, from collecting data to training the model, will eventually be fully automated, all coordinated by the AI itself.
So why does any of this matter outside of an AI lab? Well, because this same logic of self-improvement isn't just for building better AI, you could apply it to almost any business goal. Just imagine an AI running thousands of little experiments every day to optimize a sales process or a supply chain. This is really the blueprint for what people are calling an AI-native organization, a company where the AI isn't just a tool, it's the core engine, and it's always evolving.
Okay, but as these systems get more and more powerful, more autonomous, a whole new question pops up. What are they going to be like to actually, work with?
Well, MiniMax's next big project, called Open Room, gives us a little hint. It's an open-source AI agent, which is basically an AI designed to do stuff for you, and it's being built not just to be capable, but to have a personality, to be a proactive collaborator.
And this is such a key point. As the raw power of these models starts to level out, the user experience, the personality, is going to be what makes one stand out. I mean, we already see people choosing to work with an AI that just feels more intuitive. See, the future of how we work with AI isn't just about who has the most raw power. It's about partnership. And maybe, in a world of self-evolving AI, the ultimate optimization will be the AI learning how to best work with us.
And all of this leaves us with one final and kind of staggering question. Once a system can autonomously optimize its own code, its own processes, its own intelligence, what are the limits? When an AI can improve itself, what can't it improve?